to welcome Dr. Alka Ahuja ma'am, and she will be delivering her talk on role of pharmacist in COVID-19 vaccination. So I would like to introduce first Dr. Alka Ahuja is a doctorate in pharmacy, presently working as a professor of pharmaceutics and chair of pharmacy program, head of research and innovation committee at College of Pharmacy, National University of Science and Technology, Sultanate of Oman. She is a member of editorial boards and a reviewer for many national and international professional journals, and having a rich experience of more than 36 years and successfully supervised 31 postgraduate and 14 doctorate level candidates. She has published 11 books, 4 book chapters, and 250 papers in peer-reviewed journal. She established a school of research on mucoadhesive drug delivery system, a novel and innovative form of delivery system through which drug formulation have been found more effective in terms of providing relief and reducing the dosage. So, as a researcher, she has a research which has been presented in various international conferences held in India and abroad. Particularly, she has also represented in CRS conference in Paris, USA, Netherlands, Scotland, and many more. She is a university gold medalist in M.Pharm, B.Pharm. She was awarded a career award for young teacher by All India Council Teacher Technical Education. She has a many best papers in her name. So now, ma'am, I would like to welcome you from our DIT University to give a lecture delivering on the talk on role of pharmacist in COVID-19 vaccination. Over to you, ma'am.
Um, a very good afternoon to all of you. May I request Bhavna, just let me know if you can see the slide, please.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Okay, you can see the slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, yes,
Okay,
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
fine. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. I would again like to thank Bhavna for her kind words and kind introduction. And at the same time, I would also like to thank the organizers of this symposium, and with such a wonderful title, no, because this is the talk of not only one country but it's talk of the globe. So, and it is something which all of us have been talking about at different levels. So I also thank Dr. Chitmi for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. And also I would like to thank the Chancellor of the university and Dr. Sahu, the Director of Pharmacy at DIT, and all the organizing team. So I really congratulate you for the wonderful work. And actually, I don't have much to add because all my initial, no, the people who were speaking before me, they have covered most of the points. And we had such a wonderful session by Dr. Suresh, chairperson of a Pharmacy Council of India, and also by Dr. Atif, who spoke about role of pharmacist in UK, and then Dr. Prakash, he covered so beautifully about the immunization programs in India. So, but let me just put my thoughts, and I would like to give more time for the question answer session rather than talking about the same thing which my previous speakers have spoken about. So, we all know that, Bhavna, I'm able to move my slides. Can you just please? Thank.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you see
Yes,
the
ma'am.
other side? Yes, thank you. Because we all know that this COVID pandemic has ravaged the globe over the past 1 year. And this is the data which is very latest, which was only published few hours back, which shows that till now there are 171 million cases and with 3.55 million deaths across the globe. So this actually talks about how this pandemic has destroyed the globe. Now, ultimately, at the end of this, there is light at the end of this long and arduous tunnel with COVID-19 vaccines. And my previous friends and fellow colleagues, they've already spoken about the vaccines which are already been since end of this 2020, like with the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, which was the first to be authorized by European Commission, which was started in the US, followed by Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. And both these vaccines, they target this messenger RNA. I'm not going into details about the technology. And on February 27th, Johnson & Johnson vaccine was also introduced under the name of Janssen, and for which only this is a single dose vaccine. Like for other vaccines, we are still talking about the 2 doses, etc. But this vaccine is being promoted as a single dose vaccine. Then in India, we are using AstraZeneca, that's Covishield, and then Covaxin, which is the generic production of the country. And now with Sputnik being coming to India very soon, it's a Russian vaccine. And Dr. Reddy's lab is bringing it to India. And now let me go back to one official press release, which was given by FDA Commissioner Stephen M. Hahn. He spoke in the US that the first COVID-19 vaccine is a significant milestone in battling this devastating pandemic that has affected so many families. Immediately after when he made this statement, the pharmacies and the pharmacists across the globe, they geared up to begin administering vaccines to citizens. We have already heard about UK being administering, and US, we know it was the first to start vaccinating people at the pharmacies and by the pharmacists. So since the vaccination started, the pharmacists have been on the forefront, and they've been helping in managing and preventing the spread of this COVID-19. And the best part is there were some brave and passionate pharmacy students who even graduated early to step up to offer these services. Now, these are all pictures of the students who actually started contributing towards vaccination. Now, what are the various barriers? Dr. Dewan was talking about that. He was not going into the detail. I think that's really good because it helped me to talk about the barriers, because till the time we know the barriers, we cannot address how to resolve this problem. Now, barriers could be many. So it could be personal, it could be provider related, or it could be health system related. But there are certain major factors which are actually contributing to low vaccination rates in adults across the globe. Now, what is that? First is that poor public awareness. Then there is misinformation, which my fellow colleagues have also been talking about. And then the expense of stocking vaccines. Now, there are certain complications on how adult vaccinations are to be compensated by private and public insurers, because many people, they know that they have to pay for the vaccines and there is no proper insurance funding scheme for that. And also till now, still the priority is on the acute medical care service rather than emphasizing on the preventive measures. Now, one thing which is very important, people are worried about the vaccine safety for the adjuvants, because they are not only concerned about that, because many people, they are allergic to certain adjuvants. So, and also like adjuvants like aluminium, some preservatives like mercury, or the use of inactivating agents like formaldehyde. So these are certain fears which people have. Then also there are concerns about manufacturing residuals like human or the animal DNA fragments. So these are certain concerns which as pharmacists we can definitely resolve and help people. So some people also feel that they're disturbing our immune system, as Dr. Prakash Dewan was mentioning about. So, and also there are people who fear that vaccines can cause autism, diabetes, hyperacidity, or some attention deficient disorders and other complications or some development delays. So these are fears which are based on some past experiences, but definitely as pharmacists, let's see what we can do and what we have done in Middle East, in Oman especially. Administering the COVID-19 vaccine is, yes, the one of the most important tasks which are taken by the developed countries. Like we know that first dose of Pfizer vaccine was given on December 14, 2020. And when this vaccine was approved, the pharmacies and the pharmacists, they took the position to distribute the vaccines and started administering it. So now, how the countries are actually able to meet this need? Definitely, they need more pharmacists to meet this requirement. Unfortunately, in Oman, still this administering vaccines is not permitted by the pharmacists. They cannot administer the vaccines till this date. But see the advanced countries like US, and also we have heard from Dr. Atif in UK, etc. We have some known CA pharmacies in the United States, which according to New York Times, we have like drugstore chains like Rite Aid, Walgreens, CVS. They're already hiring thousands of additional pharmacists and pharmacy technicians to take this challenge of administering the vaccines. Now, where else we can play an important role? Definitely in managing vaccine storage. Why and how? Because as pharmacists, we have very good background and information on how to handle vaccines, how to take care of the storage of vaccines. And when this survey was done by American Society of Health System Pharmacists, they found that 88% of the pharmacists, they are the ones who are managing storage and handling of the vaccines. This is a great achievement on the part of the pharmacist. Now, this is something we can see that all this is the picture of how the storage of vaccine is happening. And you can see that pharmacists are really geared to understand what is the optimal temperature for storing the vaccines to make them strong and under which conditions. Like I'm sure all of us know that for Pfizer, we need a temperature condition of minus 70 degrees centigrade. That is why India did not actually think of getting Pfizer vaccine, because it's a very expensive thing for a country like India. So because the maintenance and the storage is very expensive, even Moderna, it requires a storage condition of minus 20 degrees centigrade. Even Sputnik, for some reasons, it also needs a storage condition which is again in minus, I think it's minus 18 degrees centigrade. So, and we know that these are the storage conditions which certain vaccines require. So, but yes, the pharmacists are taking a very important challenge and role in taking care of the storage of vaccines. Luckily, because Covishield and Covaxin, which are used in India, they can be stored in the normal refrigerator conditions at -2 and at 2 and 8 degrees centigrade, which is the normal refrigerator condition. Now, another place where pharmacists can play an important role is in the logistical processes and preparation of vaccine in the syringes. What exactly pharmacists they really need? They can actually help in modifications of the infrastructure, like getting specialized freezers, preparing specialized freezers, dry ice containers, and they also have good knowledge on handling other aspects of the storage of vaccines. With this, they can actually prepare these syringes and prepare these vaccines. So that is some very important role which pharmacists can definitely help in the health sector. Now, my colleague, Dr. Atif was talking about vaccine hesitancy. He did not go into the details, so I would like to cover a few things. What do we need when we talk about vaccine hesitancy? That means people, first of all, they don't have confidence. Yes, they lack that trust. Then, or they are too complacent about it, or it's just because of that convenience thing, which is making them just be hesitant of taking the vaccines. So what is this 5A model of this is 3C model. which is leading to vaccine hesitancy. But there is also 5A model, which also influences vaccine hesitancy, like as access to vaccines. Many people, they still don't have access. We know there is limitation of supply of vaccines. Then affordability, because vaccines are costing, they cost money. So some people are not able to afford for their entire families. But yes, awareness is also poor. Then some people, they are still not able to accept, and they're declining the vaccines. Then also the activation, the degree to which patients are encouraged and directed to obtain vaccines. We have still not done that activation drive, especially in places like India, where we know there is a deficiency, but still many people, I know my own friends and family people who are in that age group of that high risk group, but still they are so hesitant to take a vaccine. I wonder why. I think as pharmacists, we can definitely play a role to overcome the hesitancy. How we can do that? We should not deny this fact that we can actually do this by promoting the benefits of vaccine in a very clear and comprehensive way. We don't have to go into technical terms. People don't understand when we use the technical terms. We have to approach the common person. So we can reassure, we can actually remove their concerns about being vaccinated, address their fears, counsel them, engage them in open-ended questions. You know, personally, I remember few months back, I was also very scared of taking a vaccine, because the moment the vaccines came, they're talking about the side effects like Bell's palsy, and then they're talking about this coagulation. I was also very scared. The moment I saw my friends putting in the WhatsApp group, oh, I took the vaccine. My doctor friends started putting that, oh, I took the vaccine. Suddenly that confidence came in me, and I said, yes, I also need to go in for the vaccination because my friends are taking it. Then my own colleague, Dr. Nida, she told me, oh, Alka, I'm going to take a vaccine. Do you want to come? I said, oh, is it? Okay, I will also come. So, you know, this is what we can really do. So, you know, we must provide patients with the proper information, tell them about the clinical benefits, what it can provide. Share your personal experiences, because people relate a lot to your personal experiences rather than listening to any scientific talks and all that. Instruct patients to talk to their healthcare providers, because people have a lot of confidence in their primary healthcare providers. Tell them to talk to them and boost their confidence. Tell them that by taking vaccination, we will return to normal life, and it will help to reopen the economy also, because we know that this pandemic has affected our economy in a big way. So we have to boost confidence in people, then create some warm, caring and professional environment in talking to them. Be creative in providing information. Tell them about the side effects, because I have my own friends who are saying, oh, you know, I've heard after taking vaccine, I'll get fever. You have to tell them, no, might last only for 1 day or more. And you might have some soreness in your area where you are given the injection. But this is not much. This is like, don't get into any complicated talk. So, and talk to elderly patients, encourage them, because human interaction is very important when it comes to geriatric patients. Now, when the poll was conducted about vaccination, it came to absolutely certain, to probably, or definitely not. That is what the people have been ranked into it. What are the major concerns? Yes, definitely when mRNA vaccines like Moderna and this Pfizer vaccines came, they were first in class who had used this technology. So people had some scare. Even I had it when I was offered Pfizer vaccine. I did not want to take it because I was scared. But yes, when it came to AstraZeneca, I said, no, India, my friends are taking, so I'll take AstraZeneca. You know, this is psychological. And later on, everybody's talking about Pfizer vaccine and efficacy. That's why I said, as pharmacists, we can really do a lot. So the data shows that there is very less likelihood of experiencing a severe effect. Even if there's an effect, it might be very low. and there are no short-term significant safety concerns. Long-term side effects, obviously none of us know. Now, let me answer to one question which Dr. Prakash Diwan was mentioning, that the speed in which vaccines have been developed. Many people are asking this question. Oh, how come this vaccine has come within 1 year? That means this is just the marketing game, and now the companies, they want to earn money. Remember that there's also an answer which you can give to them as healthcare worker, as a health professional, as a pharmacist. Tell them about the technological innovations. You know, the world, we are in the 21st century now. The technology is, we have so many innovations. There is decade of research on specific technologies. We all know about these attenuated vaccines and adenovirus related vaccines. We all know that these are based on the research of specific technologies. Moreover, many companies, the governments, they have put huge financial support. Lot of infrastructure has gone, lot of money has gone in creating the facilities, in creating the infrastructure and the vaccines. So tell people these answers, support it with the scientific, so they're convinced. Because if we keep on telling them yes, 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 how it came? Yes, it came because we are in a century where we already have so much background of what is the vaccine production, how the technologies are being developed, how innovations are happening. Remember, there are people who are being very complacent about contracting the virus. They say, no, 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 I take all my care. I don't go out. I wear my mask. I cannot contract the virus. Now, just now, Dr. Diwan was telling about, and my other colleagues have spoken about, this is also airborne because the virus spreads to the distance of about 10 meters. So it is not, there is no need to be complacent about this. Anybody can get the risk of getting this virus, and there is a risk of spreading virus to your families, to your friends, to your colleagues, and especially people who have some underlying conditions. It could be really very bad in case they contract this virus. It could be life-threatening. So as pharmacists, we can identify patients in the target groups, especially people with comorbidities, especially people who are in the elderly age group, make the recommendations according to what they need. Screen additional vaccine gaps in patient profiles. When patients are coming to pharmacies in many advanced countries, they are also taking, helping them to create that, to understand this, the gaps which they have. There are certain political things which are happening. We know there is misinformation, partisan politics, which is creating distrust in the COVID-19 development. We have some rogue internet pharmacies which are giving some unverified COVID-19 treatments. Just now, Dr. Prakash Diwan was talking about Coronil being banned in Maharashtra. So, you know, this is, I don't want to comment on any of these things, but I would just like to say that pharmacists can actually combat this misinformation which is happening through the internet, you know, where people are talking about the alternate therapies, and they are giving convincing marketing, and they're giving some schemes or some things how they can protect from the viruses. He was also talking so beautifully about immunity cannot be built in a day. So it takes time, it takes years to build the immunity. So we have to build our immunity. How? Definitely through vaccination, because vaccination helps to prevent our immune system. It builds our immunity. Now, another area where pharmacists can really play a role is in the vaccine supply, by optimizing the supply chain, that is in the distribution of the vaccines, by monitoring the capacity, adverse events, identifying the population, understanding the vaccination program analytics. All these are very important things. Now, being part of handling branded health sites, there are certain branded health sites where pharmacists can play an important role. They can offer their services by replying to people thing. it is through the interactive voice recording system, where the voice or things are being recorded, people are listening to those recorded messages. But yes, the challenge is definitely there, because to train people, to train pharmacists into immunization is not easy, because even Dr. Ate was talking about that when we need to train people for immunization, even Dr. Suresh mentioned that giving these vaccinations, it is not so simple. We need to be properly trained into that. We need to understand how this immunization needs to be given. So, but there's a challenge is that not many pharmacists are trained. Many countries, they have not opened vaccination to giving vaccination by the pharmacist. So yes, that's a big challenge. Now, I would end my presentation by just talking about some achievements over the months in Oman. Now, there are only 2 vaccines which are given in Oman so far. One is the Pfizer vaccine, and second is AstraZeneca, that is Covishield. And AstraZeneca, we call it AstraZeneca here, Oxford AstraZeneca. These are only 2 vaccines available here. And you can see about 297,000 doses have been given. And there are 80,345 people who have been fully vaccinated. That means both the doses have been given. And there is 1.6% only population has been vaccinated. But there's a major drive now. They've also opened vaccination to 12th class students, because they want them to appear for their examinations. And they are also making it now in the next few months for all the students, so that they can start coming back to the universities. And they have opened it now to a major population. So we are going to start the next this vaccination drive from the coming Sunday, because lots of vaccine doses have been received by the country, majorly Pfizer vaccines. But how pharmacists are helping in Oman? They're helping in the registration process. Even as students, they told me that they are taking history of the patients. They are helping, the doctors and the pharmacists are helping in the registration process. When people come for that, they take their history. They tell them that if they are eligible to take the vaccine or not, and if they have some underlying problem that they are not allowed, then they have to guide them. And so in case some person has taken some flu vaccine before, etc. So they are taking all this history, etc. So pharmacists are definitely involved in the vaccination drive here, but yes, in a different way. And they are also involved with educating people in a big way and removing the myths. And in registration, as I mentioned, then you can see that is how in a big stadium, the vaccination drive has been happening recently. Proper social distancing is being maintained. Our pharmacists are helping in a big way in this vaccination drive. So this is just a small story from Oman. So I would like to end my presentation by some take-home points about the roles of pharmacists across the globe in COVID-19 vaccination, administering vaccines, that has been happening in developed countries, then preparation of vaccine in syringes, managing storage of vaccines, as an educator, information provider, assisting in vaccine supply and distribution, addressing anti-vaccination community, boosting confidence of people, helping to overcome hesitancy, and then organizing patient data. So this is something I would like to thank India, because India gave the first supply of AstraZeneca vaccines, Covishield, to Oman. They gifted about 100,000, that's a 1 lakh doses were gifted by India to Oman. And we were all the lucky recipients of those gifted vaccines. So I would really like to thank my own country, India, which was really generous to gift it to other countries which were not in the manufacturing of these vaccines. And this is like my thank you from the beautiful country of Oman, where I have been working since 2005. And for a brief stint from 2005 to 7. Then since 2009, I've been working here, and it's really a beautiful country. After pandemic is over, all of you must visit. And Dr. Chitmi was my colleague here, and he knows how beautiful this country is. And I would again thank Bhavna for moderating this session. Bhavna, I know her from the days at Jamia Hamdard, and she was always a very, very brilliant and a hardworking person. So, and I know that she's doing a great work at DIT also. And I thank Dr. Chitmi also once again for giving me this opportunity, and to all other wonderful colleagues of mine in the pharmacy profession. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the nice and very, involved talk, which we have been involved, how the different countries are working and how India is working about the vaccination. And you have talked about the, beautiful role of pharmacists. Like, we are thinking what pharmacists are doing till now, but yes, as a pharmacist now, we can have that we are doing a great job. So, ma'am, there are few questions which audience have, put up, and I would like to have those questions. Can you just brief me on the first question? Like, how can a pharmacist, along with some training, helpful for doctors in the process of vaccination drive?
Yes, that's a wonderful question, because definitely, because right now it's the nurses who are administering the vaccines, but along with nurses, if we also train our pharmacists, they can actually aid in administering of vaccines. That is something which pharmacists can definitely do along with the nurses. So, and besides other roles which I've already talked about in my presentation, but I think India should take a lead role in training pharmacists, because this is also the future, because in future we can see lots of variants being coming, and so a lot of infections can happen. So we need to vaccinate more and more people. So if we open up pharmacies like in the United States and train our pharmacists, we'll be able to vaccinate more and more people also. Okay. So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is, do these vaccines decreases a child's natural ability to fight the diseases?
I don't think so, Bhavna, because I have read many articles on this. They say that vaccines, they do not reduce the child's natural ability to fight diseases. In fact, if a child is not vaccinated, and in case they suffer from some infections, and they could be really life-threatening also. So they've seen that children who are not vaccinated, and when they contracted certain diseases, like like we know that even measles in some cases have led to death of children. So if the children are not vaccinated, they could be, and they contract the disease, it could affect, it could lead to big mortality, So definitely this vaccination does not affect the child's ability to fight diseases. In fact, it helps the child to counter many diseases.
And ma'am, this I would like to know about this last question, where the audience want to ask, because maximum audience wants to ask, which is the best vaccine, like in Indian perspective, when we talk about Covishield or Covaxin, because both are working in Indian community. But many people, Covishield is coming so much, and they will be getting vaccination. So their efficacy, how does it work? Either they are both in a very good efficacious vaccine, and some people are hesitant of taking Covishield, some are hesitant in taking Covaxin. So ma'am, just give a light on this.
Yeah. This is actually, yes, but I don't have much data on that, but in Oman, only Covishield, which I told you that AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine was given. But yes, because being an Indian, I have a lot of interest in comparing these two vaccines. Basically, if you compare that in efficacy, globally now, they are talking about efficacy of Covishield after the second dose ranging from 70 to 90%. what they are talking about globally. Because if you look at the data, they are saying after second dose. I'm not talking about after the first dose. So, but for Covaxin, it also says that after second dose, it is effective to the extent of 78 to 100%. So that is what they are talking about. So it only long term we will be able to find out. But at the same time, for Covaxin, we know that the second dose could be given between after 4 to 6 weeks, whereas for Covishield, because of the non-availability, they have not delayed the second vaccine from, like I was reading, 84 days also, you know.
Yes.
So I have some people who have to travel abroad for their higher studies. So they were going for Covaxin. So now later on, what has happened, many countries, because WHO has still not given the signal to Covaxin. So many countries are not accepting people who have been vaccinated with Covaxin. So maybe in future, when Covaxin also receives the green signal from WHO, so people can travel with Covaxin, I think people will become more confident. So now people are not confident because of these travel things also. And moreover, now Covishield, they have opened it to people above 18 years. Whereas I was reading that Covaxin is even open to people who are more than 12 years. So which shows that they are more confident about their vaccine being also given to the children. Then another thing is that Covaxin is even more expensive. Even at the government thing, they are charging, I think, 400, and private, they are charging 1,200. And for Covishield, they are charging 300 and 600. No, I think they are something like that. So which is, Covishield is less expensive. So people, when they consider the cost for the entire family, and moreover availability, you know, I would say Covishield is easily available, no, compared to Covaxin. For Covaxin, I was talking to my friend in Delhi. She said my daughter has to travel, and so she went. With that time, she did not know that travel was not allowing Covaxin. She said my daughter went to some place in a village near Noida, and there she took Covaxin. And she said that is, you know, because Covaxin is not easily available. Even my family in Chandigarh, you know, they were telling me that Covaxin is not easily available. So we cannot compare much because we don't know right now because of the availability. But I would say whichever vaccine is available, please take it. Please take it. Do not delay thinking, oh, I will take Covishield or I will take Covaxin. Whichever you get. And also, you know, there are certain, it's a very important medical point about allergic reactions. Because I was reading that Covaxin is in some places they are saying it is not recommended for immunocompromised people or people with history of some allergies or fever or with some bleeding disorders or people who are on some blood thinners. And, you know, like for Covishield also, they're talking about people with allergic reactions. So one definitely needs to talk to their doctor, which vaccine they should choose. Because I remember one of our family members who was an elderly person, for them, the doctors prescribed Covaxin because they said that in the age group above 80 plus, the person should go for that. So that's what it's better to consult your medical provider or your doctor in case you have any comorbidities or you have some allergic reactions, and take their guidance before deciding whether Covishield or Covaxin should be taken. But yes, I don't see any difference in the efficacy, you know, as for the data, you know.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for all these nice inputs from your side. And I'm very much thankful that you have presented the talk on role of, vaccination by the pharmacist role in the vaccination drive. So, from my side, from the bottom of my heart, I am thankful that I am blessed to have a teacher like you. And I still remember the subject which you taught me. So, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And from the part of DIT, I thank you again to be here as a part of this symposium and conference which we have organized. So, I would like to hand over this, ma'am, now. Now I would
just last minute, I would like to thank Mr. Sameer Bhargav also, who was really, who spent so much of time helping me to, understand the technical parts yesterday. So I
Yes.
will really fail in my duty if I do not thank him. And obviously to your director, Dr. Sahu, and to Dr. Chitmi, and to Dr. Arora and to Dr. Rajiv, so who are chatting with me in the morning. So you have a wonderful team, and I will only wish you all the success and keep soaring high and keep doing good work. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
once
so
again.
much, ma'am.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
require
Thank you
all
so
your
much.